Okay, let's call this to order. The Lander County Commissioners meeting, Town Board of Battle Mountain and Austin Board of County Highway Commissioners, Lander County Courthouse Chamber, Commissioners Chamber, 50 State Route 305, Battle Mountain, Nevada. Also via teleconference at Austin Courthouse Commission Office, 121 Main Street, Austin, Nevada. Via audio conferencing by GoToMeeting. Do I need to add the phone numbers and stuff into that?
No, I just
Okay.
read that paragraph right there.
All times on the agenda are approximate. Consideration of items may require more or less time than is scheduled. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order. The public body may combine two or more agenda items for consideration, and the public body may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item in the agenda at any time. Public comment is designated for discussion only. The public has the opportunity to address the commission on any matter not appearing on the agenda. However, no action may be taken on the matter raised until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which the action may be taken. Additional public comment may be heard on any item listed on the agenda. Persons are invited to submit comments in writing and attend. Comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person. The direction of the commission. Please note the public body may interrupt the open meeting and exclude the public for purpose of having an attorney-client discussion of potential or existing litigation pursuant NRS 241.015.3B2. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. And Brian, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence. Okay, Lander County Commissioners may break for lunch from 12 to 1:15 p.m. Any agenda item may be taken out of order, may be combined for consideration by the public body, and items may be pulled or removed from agenda at any time. Commissioners' reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended.
nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
I have nothing to report.
Will you ask if Art's on the line?
Art, are you there?
I don't have anything to report.
Muted. Unmuted.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Thanks, Art.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Commissioner, JR,
What's that?
could you please have the record reflect that Art Clark is present on the phone?
Okay.
And not here personally, but present on the phone?
Okay, the chairman is, Art Clark is on the phone with us. He's not able to be here right at the moment, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Staff report.
Public comment?
No staff reports.
Oh, staff reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended.
Good morning, Commission. So we did have I'm surprised Ms. Patsy, she usually doesn't miss anything like this, but we did have the realignment in Austin town meeting. And Ms. Waits was there, so hopefully that continues going well. The community seemed to have most of their questions answered by AM Engineering and the law firm out of Vegas that are taking this on. So look forward to some progress coming soon for the community there. Also, one thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention is I would like to give the strategic rail plan that we approved. I would like to sign a 1-month extension onto that contract because we're getting them started 1 month late due to us exchanging paperwork back and forth and getting them signed up for the accounts. They actually haven't started the job, so I'd like to extend that for 1 month, and if the commission's all right with me signing that, I'd just kind of like a general consensus.
I'm fine with it.
And commissioners, I looked at it, and what it amounts to is an amendment to the contract. And the only amendment, as Bertolo points out, is that because when we paid them, they are starting a month later. They didn't start immediately because we had to get a 1032 or something.
Yeah, we had to get their W-9 and all the other paperwork that consists back and forth, so,
So we're just, it's good to put a start date, different start date.
and it will be an amendment to their contract, a 1 month difference. And with that, everything else we have is on the agenda.
Sounds good.
For clarification, I do have kind of a general consensus, that's not a problem to sign that, right?
Yeah, I'm good
Okay.
with it.
Okay.
Patsy, you good with it?
Yes.
There?
Yeah. Public comment for non-agendized items only. Persons are invited to submit comments in writing and/or make comments on any non-agenda item at the board meeting. If any of the discussion of the comments, the discretion of the board, all public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person. Again, and in discretion of the board, reasonable restrictions may be placed on public comments based upon time, place, and manner. By public comment based upon viewpoint may not be restricted. Do we have any public comment? Apparently not. Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action. Without extension discussion, any member of the board or any citizen may request that the item may be taken from the consent agenda, discussed, and acted upon separately during this meeting. Consent agenda material are available at the Lander County Clerk's for viewing, and copies are available for a nominal charge. Number one, approval of May 12th, 2022 agenda notice.
So read them all in.
Huh?
Read them all in.
Oh, approval of the March 21st, 2022 special budget workshop meeting minutes. 3, approval of March 22, 2022 special budget workshop minutes. Excuse me. Approval of the March 24th, 2022 meeting minutes. The approval of the April 14th, 2022 minutes. Approval of April 28th, 2022 meeting minutes. Approval of payroll change requests.
I'll make a motion that we approve items 1, 2, 3, and 7.
I'll second that motion.
Hold on.
We need to pull the agenda notice because we need to amend item number 4.
Which item?
Item 4, it needs to be January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022
Oh,
instead of 23. Okay, now you can move forward.
Okay. So I'll re-amend my motion to approve the change on number 1.
I don't have any green light. Are we supposed to have green lights?
I got one.
That's the
Yours
chair.
is always on.
So it's where-
Mine's always on?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's where the chair normally sits.
you should be sitting here. Okay,
You
yes,
are
I will second the amended.
Okay, it's been approved and,
No, wait, call for all in favor.
all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. It's been approved and passed.
Aye.
Okay. Got everybody. Okay, now what do we do?
We're gonna move to number 1.
Oh, Commissioners for discussion, possible action to approve, disapprove payment of bills. And we need to pull check 21 215,353 and 215,443.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we approve the remainder of the bills.
Second the motion.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
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 I make a motion, we approve check number 215353, 215443.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And I abstain, they're made to my employer.
Okay,
You guys will need, yeah.
Aye.
okay. The motion's been approved. Okay,
JR, at this time, I would
9:15?
take a break until 9:15.
Okay.
okay, we'll take a 4-minute break. Okay, we need to open up public comment. We need to read the,
Just put us at 9:15, just put us back in session.
okay, the Commissioners' meeting is back in session. And
Just read item number 2.
item number 2, public hearing for discussion of and possible action to modify and/or approve, disapprove the option of ordinance 2022-01, adding new Title 10, Chapters 10 to Lander County Code, allowing use of off-highway vehicles on county roads. Do we have any public comment?
Commissioner, you mean adoption, not, we're asking the county commission to adopt this resolution or modify it. And you need to, for the record, open up the public hearing. So I hereby open up the public hearing, and this is the opportunity from anybody on the phone or in the gallery to come up and talk about the ordinance.
Okay, so we'll open this up for public hearing.
Yes.
Opening the public hearing.
And ask for public comments.
And do we have any public comment?
So, no, so, let me give you.
Muted.
background.
Unmuted.
You guys asked me quite a few months ago to work on an ordinance that allows off-road vehicles on county roads, and that's what this ordinance does. And I'd like to point out on page 4 and page 5. First, on A, on page 4, 10-10-10-050, designated routes and trails. A tells you, basically says that off-highway vehicles may be used and operated within Lander County only over such ways, trails, streets, roads, or highways that are recognized and are maintained by Lander County, including any town streets recognized and are maintained by the official town board of any unincorporated town. To the fullest extent possible, off-highway vehicles shall be operated only on the outer edge of streets and roads and shall not be operated on sidewalks. That basically allows the people to use these vehicles on any county roads. However, you'll notice that D on the next page, page 5 of 6, states, the Lander County Board of Commissioners shall adopt by resolution appropriate maps which describe and identify the routes where off-road vehicle use is permitted under this chapter and establish the routes appropriate for off-highway vehicle use. We have not done that, and we are not going to do that because that in no way interferes with A. A allows them to use them on county roads. D may come in the future if the county commissioners decide to create a map basically prohibiting certain roads from
So,
being used.
Are we gonna strike D from this then?
No, we're
Because-
gonna keep D, but I want you to know the difference. D says that we will do a map.
It just says,
allows-
yeah, it says shall adopt, so it's showing that we will, but it doesn't put a, I mean,
Right.
what's the time?
No, it doesn't.
None?
So if you want to, you may, but I'm just saying that at some time in the future, I'm anticipating around 6 months, that we're gonna go to our law enforcement partners and ask them if there's any roads that are problematic and they would want us to do a map. And if they, to prohibit the use. If they say, no, everything's good, then we can do a map for all the county roads, and do it by
So
resolution.
my point is, should it say shall adopt or may adopt?
The statute, we have to adopt it at some point in time.
So we have
We don't have to adopt it now because A,
Okay,
but what we want to adopt it in the future, because we don't know what's gonna happen for 5 or 6 months. And then we'll ask law enforcement what they think about it and maybe ask for public comment again. And then we can adopt a resolution, and the resolution will have all county roads, or it will prohibit certain county roads.
so, what's the sheriff's department's take on the resolution, Robert?
Robert Cook for the Sheriff's Office. Discussions with the sheriff's in support of the resolution, and now with the explanation from the DA, we're good with that one. We had a question, and that's why the DA explained that out.
Thank you.
If this honorable board adopts this ordinance today, it needs to be published at least 3 weeks before it goes into effect. So I don't want anyone that's listening or here today in the audience to think if you vote to adopt it, that they can go right out and do it legally. They have to wait the 3 weeks publication period before it formally goes into effect.
Counselor, then we need to fill this in where it says this ordinance shall be effective on.
Well, it'll be effective, technically it's effective today, but it doesn't,
Go into it.
it doesn't become legal until the.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying we're adopting the ordinance, so section 2 gives us a date. So how do we address that?
I would say that you do it today, because when we publish it, we want the date,
That you approved it.
that you approved it.
Well, if that's the case, then if somebody's writing today, after we pass it, they're okay.
Yeah, they're gonna be okay technically. Unless law enforcement wants to be, I mean, I'm not gonna prosecute anybody for it,
Exactly.
is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But it's one of those technicalities in the law. We could put a date in the future, but do we know when it's gonna be published?
Well, generally we
Kathy?
publish for 2 weeks,
Oh.
and then it's effective the day after the second publication.
Okay,
So I have it as May 26th.
okay,
It'll be in effect.
okay, you wanna put May 26th then?
We can, I mean, what's the, I guess I'm confused, what's the actual NRS stipulate? Does it become effective after? the
After
notification?
publication.
Publication.
Okay, so
All-
then we'll make it,
all
we'll
ordinances.
make it May 26th then?
Okay, that's a good idea.
Did Art have any comments at all on it?
Does anybody have a comment on that? Public comment?
Ask if Art does.
I didn't
Art?
hear exactly what Robert said.
Oh, he basically gave the sheriff's department's blessing. Said they were okay with it.
So the sheriff's department's, they're okay with, okay, that's, okay.
Okay, somebody wanna make a motion on, number 2, the public hearing for discussion, possible action to modify and or disapprove the ordinance of 2022-01, adding new title 10, chapter 10 to the Lander County Code, allowing use of off-highway vehicles on county roads.
I'll make a motion that we approve the adoption of ordinance 2022-01, adding new Title 10, Chapter 10 to Lander County Code, allowing use of off-highway vehicles on county roads, and to make it effective May 26th of 2022,
And authorize signatures.
and authorize signatures.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been carried and passed.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we'll move on to number 3. Commissioners, for discussion of possible action to approve, disapprove Advisory Planning Commission, which currently has 2 openings. One opening terms from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023. One opening from July 1st, 2020 through June 20th, 2022. A, Amy Nelson, and B, Wayne Nebaker.
So first off, I'd like to see that, I'd like to say that I was glad to see somebody responding off her Facebook post of the opening positions. I think that's what we deal with a lot is people just aren't aware that we have these openings, and so that was pretty cool to see that, so.
Do I have to ask public comment on that?
Yeah.
Is there any public comment on that? Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of 2 individuals.
We need to do it separately, I think, don't we?
You need to do them separately.
Because they're
each one
different
is
dates.
designated to
Oh, okay. So I'll make a motion that we approve Amy Nelson to serve on the Lander County Public Land Use Advisory Planning Commission. Which term, it doesn't really matter, I guess. We're just assigning
It,
2.
it doesn't really matter, but we need to probably note that the one that you assigned to the July 1, 2020 to the June 2022, on June of this year, they will have to resubmit another letter. I know it's an inconvenience, but it's just the way we keep our board staggered.
Amy, would you be fine with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make so let my motion reflect that Amy will be for the opening term of July 1st, 2020 through June 2022.
June 30, sorry.
Oh, June 30th, 2022.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, the motion's been,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will make a motion
Aye.
that we approve Wayne Nebaker to serve on the Lander County Public Land Use Advisory Planning Commission from July 1st, 2021. Oh, wow. Retroactively is difficult to do, through June 30th, 2023.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
So you have your motion and your second, call for a vote.
The motion's been made and we'll call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion's been voted on and carried. We'll go on to number 4. For the discussion of possible action, approve, disapprove the appointment of 1 individual to serve the Lander County Conservation District, which currently has 1 opening. New terms are from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023. Amy Nelson. Can I get a motion?
That we amended, which is actually July
2022.
1 of 21 to, or June 1 of 21 to December 31st of 22.
So, Amy, oh, there you are. So the one question I have is because you are a candidate that's running for the.
Correct,
Conservation
that's why I'm
District.
up here,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. So if you'd like to speak on.
Yeah,
that.
I just want to be, full disclosure, I am running for this in the general election, and I went to the meeting a couple nights ago, and I did let the entire group know that when I came up and talked about what was open and what was available, I could take this appointed position, and then with the understanding, if I win in the election, then my opponent can take the appointed position. If I lose in the election, I'll just stay in the appointed position, so I felt like it was a win-win. Both of us have the opportunity to serve.
So we probably should keep, I would say, keep our ad out, looking for that, knowing that we're going to, if she does win, would that be appropriate to keep the advertisement going or not? Until
Not if it's filled. Once it's
Yeah.
filled, we will.
All right. So basically, if we accept Amy's letter, then she'll serve as the appointment of the commission, and you'll be responsible to report back to the commission on the meetings and what is being discussed, and just, okay? Any other questions?
Any public comment or questions?
And Amy, keep in mind on this one, it expires on December of the end of this year, and so we'll have to reappoint again.
And this is, for the record, as you pointed out, Brian, this is the county's representative on the board. And you are appointed, Brian, to the board. You go there.
Yes,
And-
currently, I'm a voting member,
You're a
but
voting
once
member.
we appoint her, she'll be the voting member, and then I'll still be on the board as a non-voting member.
Thank you very much. That's correct.
All right, well, if we're ready for a motion, I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of Amy Nelson to serve on the Lander County Conservation District from the term will be from June 1st, 2021 through December. January 1st, sorry. 2021 through December 31st, 2022.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. The motion's been
Made and seconded?
made and seconded. Is everybody in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations, Amy. Okay, number 5, commissioners for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the temporary road closure permit for the annual 4th of July parade hosted by the VFW Steve Burkhart, starting on 4th Street and heading west on Front Street, turning south on Broad Street, and ending up at the Elquist Park. The parade will take place July 4th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Anybody want to make a motion on whether we,
Pretty
approve?
standard business, we do it every year.
Yeah,
I see
just-
Highway Patrol and Sheriff's Department both signed off on it.
Yep.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the temporary road closure permit for the annual 4th of July parade hosted by the VFW's Steve Burkhart, starting on 4th Street, then heading west on Front Street, turning south on Broad Street, and ending at Elquist Park. The parade will take place on July 4th, 2022 at 10 a.m.
And I second the motion.
okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Commissioners for, number 6, commissioners for discussion and possible action to establish a development improvement plan in Lander County.
All right, Commissioner, I'm the one who asked for this to be on the agenda at the end of the last meeting, and the reason for this is we have a couple items down from here. We're gonna be touching on some things that are important. Right now, the county is, the way it stands is a lot of development that's taking place takes place in only a couple homes at a time, and the reason being is we can't get a developer out here in Lander County that can actually front the money to do a subdivision. They can't do curbs, gutters, sidewalks, street lighting, and everything else that would come with a subdivision that you see if you were to go to, say, Fernley or Elko or anywhere else. When you go into a subdivision, everything's laid out and there's a marquee there that shows what home you'd want built, and you pick out your home and you come in 9 months later to have your home built on a parcel there. Well, where we are and trying to get developers out here, you can't really accomplish that very well, or we haven't had anybody interested in it. So we end up building 2 and 3 homes at a time, and it lacks the curb, gutter, and sidewalk, and we end up in the situation that we're in right now, going through our community, spending millions of dollars putting in curb, gutter, and sidewalk to make it nice for the community. So is what I'm kind of hoping for here is to put something out there that we do some sort of plan to work with developers coming in, all developers, and anybody that wants to come to the table and sit in front of this commission and say, hey, the county's willing to come to the table with this. You guys are going to have to extend your utilities, but as opposed to doing it the way we're doing it right now. We're coming back and we're tearing out people's fences, we're tearing out their lawns, we're tearing out their trees, because people build right up to the back of curb when they put their yards in. So we gotta come back and we gotta remove all that and put our, curb, gutter, and sidewalk in to make it nice for the community and the kids staring out in the street when they're walking around. So I think that it might be wise of us to, extend this to developers that would wanna come to our community and say, hey, if you guys wanna put in a subdivision, let us help you support this and bring some actual subdivisions into our community, because it does kind of kneecap us in the sense that these big landowners that would love to develop can't develop financially, and they can only build a couple homes at a time, and then they have to wait a few years before they come back and build a couple more. And then you have very nice homes like we have out here by the golf course that don't have sidewalks, they don't have streetlights, they don't have the curb and gutter, and years down the road, we gotta come back and correct that. So it might be something that if we can offer that out now, we might get some more people to the table to come in here and do actual developments.
So just to make sure I understand you, so basically the point, what we're trying to alleviate is how the existing system is coming in and then ripping out everything that's this landowner has done. That's what we're trying to prevent by having a relationship with the county and the contractor to make sure that work's done prior to anybody buying and building on that lot. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of multi-folded here. That's one of it, is we don't want to have to go back in because it costs us more to bring a contractor in. But the other thing is it would promote bringing some developers maybe to town, and starting some of these projects. Some of these home developments, when you go to these other communities, they may sit vacant for a few years, and then all of a sudden they have a big explosion of these lots start getting filled up. But when you drive in, you have your paved streets, you have your curb, gutter, sidewalk, everything's already ready. It's just waiting for somebody to show up.
I understand what you're saying, and I think that's important, but I really don't know how, who's gonna put a plan together, and how can we, I guess I don't know the point of the plan. I mean, if you have people that are still gonna come in and have one home here, and then somebody else builds a home here, and they don't have it, so what, I guess
So I guess,
on the whole idea of who's gonna supervise this whole plan, put this plan together, and then somebody says, oh, that's mine right there.
so the intent of your plan when you start building out is you start small, and your smaller lots are within your community, and as you go out, your lots get bigger and bigger and bigger, is kind of the build from the inside out of most communities. And most of our land around the community of Battle Mountain, the bigger blocks of land, are not really, the owners and the people that want to develop on them can't really develop because they can't afford to come in and build 15 houses with curb, gutter, sidewalk, paved streets, the whole nine. But they can afford to bring in your utilities. They can't afford to bring the streets up to a pavable standard, so they do that in small blocks. They will do a couple homes here and a couple homes there, and they're slowly chunking off of property that if we put some sort of incentive on the table, they may come in and say, hey, I want to do a full development. Right. And this would be something that would come back, and who would monitor it is this commission and the planning commission. They approve and put stipulations, as you guys will see on these future agenda items, stipulations on how and what's going to happen in these developments. So the oversight would come from this board as well as the planning commission, but it would cost the county some funds up front to more or less partner with developers in making a better community.
Yeah, we're
Well, no,
incentivizing it. I see exactly.
Yeah, I like the idea of partnering, and I understand that, but what are you looking at, for a minimum for the parcels?
That is it would have to be over 3, I believe. There's probably some people in the audience that could answer this better than I can. But I believe it has to be over 3 before you have become a subdivision. When you start parceling off more than 3 lots, and I could be wrong, it might be 2, but I think it's 3.
Actually 4, but you
Is it
only
4?
end up with 3 developable.
Okay. Yes, so I believe that once we break into that subdivision, as Mr. Wintle just pointed out, of 4, once they exceed the 4, then they would be actually falling under the subdivision rules. And he can correct me where I'm misspeaking here.
No, I think you're doing a good job.
Jay, go ahead and hit your button right there so the light's up green, so the mic's on. There you go, thank you.
Jay Wintle for the record. Our biggest issue with development in town is accessible to sewer. We have no access to sewer and we can't develop more than, we can't develop a housing development on any of the inner town stuff that is designated to have sewer on. The state won't even look at it without sewer as a subdivision.
So, what you're saying is we need more sewer infrastructure.
Yeah, we've talked for years, and I don't know if we're far off, because the other one's economical.
Haven't we been blamed sewer? I mean, that's part of the thing we've been working on, is getting it, our sewer plant, right, or add-on, to support that, development that we've been looking at, right?
Correct. So there is in our master plan, and one of our big holdups right now is this force main that's going from the Allen Road to our sewer plant, because that will take all this housing right here off of our current system over here that runs over by the Assembly of God Church by Napa there, and then we can extend this side of the sewer and start connecting it to it right now, so our flows will actually take that.
Well, we've had that as a priority on our infrastructure for some time, so I understand that, but I guess I don't understand, like, who's gonna put this plan together and how is that going to really help? I just,
The developer would actually, the landowner would have to put the plan together, so they have to bring in and submit plans, but, and put something on the table for us to actually have an appetite for. But is what I would like to do is have some funds set aside so we can do that, and we aren't coming back years later and tearing up yards and doing that. And also to potentially put some more houses on the market for our community.
Art, do you have anything on this?
Did somebody mention me? Hello? Hello?
Hey, Art, I was just saying, do you have anything to add to what we're discussing here?
No, the sewer line that's supposed to go from Allen Road over to, the sewer plant, that's been talked about for 8 years. And I know that that's been a problem, but, we need to do something to contain, the growth and go from density out, not just create density out somewhere. That's what I have to say.
So just for the record, that sewer line that he's speaking of is under contract.
Right. Yeah, I know we've been pushing through on that, so, I mean, I think it's a great idea. If we can incentivize it, we can accomplish more, make it better for our developers, for Lander County. I think it's a great idea, so. And I understand, yes,
Jay Wintle for the record. We just need to pick a spot where we're gonna run sewer in like a 5-year plan. We can run it. I mean, we can run it back over, across Clark's and back over to catch some of that. We can come down Sheep Creek. We're gonna open up country land either place for development. Other one, like Bert said, is we need to, where it's important now is to dabble at a few houses at a time. Get a contractor here, get somebody, we actually got 2 of them here now, but they're running out of lots. And get a market for these lots, because there's not a market for these lots to develop anything more than 5 or 6 lots a year, because you might be sitting on them for 10 years. And that's where a subdivisions, you pay up front and for the whole, like, for example, Turquoise Hills, when we did it, the whole bill is up front. You bond it and everything. When you sit down and get approved by this meeting, you've got all the money is set aside and bonded. And then you're 2 years in construction or whatever, and then could be 10 years here before you sell out even a small subdivision of 10, 15 lots.
I guess I'm still confused because I don't understand the specifics of what we're gonna have in this development plan. So if a developer comes in, we're gonna pull out this plan and we're gonna say, this is what we can do and this is our idea. I mean,
No, I would need direction from you guys to develop a plan, to make some sort of, agreement that a developer could see that they could come before this commission and before the planning commission and say, hey, I would like to try to execute some of this plan. And this plan involves the county paying for curb, gutter, and sidewalk. This involves, you know, a few things from the county. So we would develop this plan, and that's what I'm looking for here is direction to develop this plan that we would bring and give to you guys. You guys would have to reapprove this later. And, me not knowing a whole lot about this, but having kind of a vision of what I want to see done, I think that we start getting some minds wrapped around this and we can come up with a good idea that would fit things that would better our community. Like I say, then you can have a subdivision that they come back before this county commission and the planning commission say, hey, here's the development I want to put in, and the county's gonna pay for X amount. You know, we had that agreement when we did that with New Nevada Lands, when we extended the water line out to the airport. The county benefited and all the land that can be developed off of it benefited, and we kind of want to do the same thing so we can keep increasing our tax base, because if Laura was here, she could speak more to it, but as the houses fall out of the tax bracket, the county loses revenue, so we constantly have to be building and improving, or else our revenue starts falling, and it's going to fall really quickly when some of these bigger areas that were developed all at once come off of our tax roll.
no, I understand the reasons why. I guess I just would like to see the plan. I mean, so like we can just say, yeah, go ahead and put something together for us, and then we'll see if we want to adopt the plan.
This
And
is
we
where,
do
this
that.
was where I was gonna go with it. It's a very general agenda
Yes, true.
item. So
It's true.
basically,
It's-
that's what I was going to say. I would give direction to staff
Yeah.
to put it back, put something together that has a little bit more meat and potatoes to it, and bring it back to this board when we're a full board up here, and we can actually have more of a vision or idea of it.
Correct, and that's what I would like to
Yes,
do, bring
exactly.
something with some substance back to you
Yeah.
Yes.
that shows what kind of expenses are gonna be related to this for the county and the taxpayers of the county.
Right.
And show maybe some cost benefit analysis.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is, instead of us making these arrangements with developers as they come in being specific just to them, we'll have the
Yes, a
plan
general
so
plan,
that
yes.
everyone knows up front. And I like that, but like I said, I'm confused over what all is gonna be involved, so yeah, I think that's it with the direction and more specifics, so we know what we're doing.
Got one more comment.
Yes.
Just on the curb and gutter and sidewalk. A lot of places, I ain't been around construction for a long time, but a lot of them tied it to the building permit. Like, you know, if I was to build on them lots that I'm creating now, that it would be required with the building permit, wouldn't be as bad, because you wouldn't put that money, you wouldn't throw that money and wait to get a return on it for 5 years. It'd be put right when that house is being built. You could tie it to a building permit requirement that curb and gutter and sidewalk, but the only problem with that is, if you're out in open space, it's gonna have to be engineered, somebody's gonna have to, I mean, the county's gonna have to step up and engineer the heights and, you know, we want this sidewalk this wide in this spot and curb and gutter here, and then we're gonna come in with a interstructure and tie the asphalt back to it.
Well, and I think that's why I think we should go the way we're going with the direction, because that would be part of more of like the meat and potatoes of it. And, yeah, exactly. So I would just like to see us give staff direction into bringing us back more of a defined outline of what we're looking at. And put it on an agenda, you know, and listen to it as a full board, so. You good with that?
I'm fine, that would stop my confusion over what it's going to entail, so like I said, I need more specifics, so I think that's good. Thank you.
So what we're gonna do is have Bert work up a plan,
Yeah, more of a detailed plan.
yeah, and then bring it back in front of us again.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan.
Art?
Yeah, I want to see an outline. Definitely want to see an outline how this is going to work, because I share concerns with this. It seems like we want to invite somebody in to put a housing development in, and the county's going to pay for the curbs, sidewalks, and gutters for some reason, and I want more explanation.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay. So what are we gonna do with this one?
We just gave staff direction.
Okay, we'll direct
Yeah.
Bert to make out the plan and come back in front of us.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, we'll be back with something, and, you know, the kind of the purpose of putting this on here is to all developers, we want fair and equal opportunity, you know, it's not for one individual, it's for anybody that wants to step forward and do it.
Okay, number 7, Commissioners, update from Joel Donaldson and Kim Wolf on Nevada Gold Rush project.
I sent some slides, are you able to pull those up? Sarah.
So if you have it, that's in the backup, but we didn't actually,
Get a thumb drive.
put it on the,
Do you have them in
Yeah,
your
we have them
packet?
in.
yeah.
Okay.
I apologize, that's what we thought we were looking
I've
for.
got, Kim Wolf is the specialist on this, I'm gonna actually have her hand out some of these as I speak, so
Okay,
others
perfect.
know what I'm talking about.
Morning, guys.
I'll give her just a moment.
Yeah.
They've got them. Okay, I'm Joel Donaldson. I work for Nevada Gold Mines. I'm the head of permitting, environmental, and land. I'm here to talk about our Gold Rush project. I've got Kim Wolf with me. She's actually the specialist who is working on permitting this with the BLM right now. So if we look at our first slide about Nevada Gold Mines, of course you're familiar with us, but this gives you an overview of where the project is. So it's near our Cortez mines, on the border of Eureka and Lander County. So part of the project is in Lander and part of it's in Eureka. And then looking at the next one, this just summarizes some of the impact that Nevada Gold Mines has on our local economy here in the 4 northeastern Nevada counties where we operate. We have about 7,000 employees, and our payroll last year was just over $1 billion. We paid $310 million in taxes, and supported the new gold and silver excise tax, which is specific to funding education. So that's a gross royalty that scales between 0.75% and 1.1%. And I've got some figures in here on the project specifically about the taxes that'll be paid. And then we focus on buying goods and services from Nevada businesses. Last year, the total on that was $1.25 billion. And then we had about $9 million in direct community investment. More than half of that for education, and then economic development and community health projects. So the Gold Rush project is a new underground mine. We're exploring there today. You can see pictures of the exploration declines. We've been doing exploration from the surface and from underground under an authorization from the BLM since 2017. And that includes some tests of mining methods and some ore processing tests. In the plan that we've submitted to the BLM, we have a 24-year mine life. We're still exploring today, and we expect that to be extended in time. We've got several hundred people there working today on the exploration and development. But when we get into construction after the BLM approves our EIS, there'll be 500 jobs created during construction and just under 600 jobs during operations. And those are new jobs. Our other mines, the Cortez Hills Underground, has about 10, 12 years left. So these, during that time, will be added to our current employment. So far, we've spent over $300 million developing this project and doing exploration. And when we bring it into full production, the total build out is going to be about $1 billion. Looking at the life of mine, the net proceeds taxes expected to be paid from this project over its life are in excess of $326 million. And we expect to pay $142 million in that new tax that's specific to education. These numbers are based on a gold price assumption of $1,200 an ounce. That's what we use in our business planning because it's conservative. It allows us to weather a lot of fluctuations in the price. So the actual taxes paid are likely to be quite a bit higher than this. This project is an underground mine. I'm looking at the slide 5 with the picture of the sage grouse. We looked at options for an open pit mine years ago, but we've been doing analysis with the BLM, environmental and NEPA analysis for 25 some odd years in the Cortez district. So with that study of the environmental impacts and with concerns raised over the years by the Western Shoshone about certain areas that are important to them close to the mine, we've decided to mine underground. So we've really mitigated a lot of impacts that we could have to the environment and to those cultural resources by deciding to mine underground here. On the sage grouse, we don't do any disturbance until after we've mitigated our impacts to sage grouse. We're using 2 different systems to do that. We've got an agreement that Barrick entered into in 2015 with the Department of Interior, BLM, and the Fish and Wildlife Service. We call that the Bank Enabling Agreement. And under that agreement, we do restoration in the area around the Cortez mine. We've got 47,000 acres of habitat restoration planned for a total of about $40 million. So far, we've spent $7 million of that. And then we also work in the Nevada Conservation Credit System, where we secure credits on another property in order to offset any impacts of disturbance to sagebrush habitat at our projects. And that has to be done before we do any ground disturbing activities. And then looking at slide 6, this shows you in relation to our existing mines in the Cortez district. We've got the pipeline mine, which has been in operation for quite a while. Cortez Hills, which was an open pit mine that's now being reclaimed, and then the underground mine that's there today. And then Gold Rush comes off to the other side of the Cortez Mountains towards Horse Creek, and you can see that faint black line there. That's where the exploration declines are. That's where we will enter the mine from once it goes into production. And we located it there not because from a logistical or financial standpoint that was the best place, but because it minimizes the impact to the environment and to those areas that were significant to the Western Shoshone. So it also is going to allow us to use facilities that we've already built for our other mine, including where the maintenance shops are and where the operators change. Like I said, right now we're exploring there underground, but once we get the approval from the BLM, we will build a dewatering system to pump water to keep the mine dry. We'll add ventilation to introduce air into the mine, and then we'll have facilities to get things like fuel and lubricants into the mine, and the materials that we need to backfill the underground workings as we're mining. So far, we've spent just under $20 million just on the environmental analysis and on NEPA for the preparation of the EIS with the BLM. Like I said, we're working on an EIS. The Battle Mountain BLM has prepared a draft EIS, and we're just waiting for BLM headquarters in Washington, D.C. to approve a notice of availability. Once they've done that, they'll publish that notice, and the EIS will become available for public review. And there'll be several meetings, probably one in this building, for public comment and for the public to get information about the project. And then the BLM will solicit comments for a 45-day period on the project. And if you're amenable to it, we would appreciate your support during that time. We're putting together some draft letters of support for review for those who are interested in providing a positive comment to the BLM in support of the project.
You know, Joel, we've always been very proud of our partnership with you folks and how we've been able to work together. But I have to apologize. Unfortunately, I don't think we put this on the agenda properly
Oh, okay.
because it's not an action item.
Well,
And I see
Yeah,
that you did
it's-
ask for a letter of support.
but
Well,
it's
later on in the
premature though,
process.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you an update, so the BLM hasn't published this yet, so this period's not open. So we'll come back at another time with an agenda item, asking for you to
And what
approve
you'd
a
like
letter
in
of
the
support.
support letter?
Yeah,
Great.
We would have to look at the EIS.
Right.
That's published before you should take that position.
I do have a question though. You said, on your information on that, you said it was southern Lander County. How far southern do you
Well,
consider southern Lander County?
I'm sorry, I believed I said on the border between Lander County and Eureka County. But
Okay.
if you look at that second slide,
Yeah,
this kinda tells you.
it doesn't look that far down,
No, we're,
but maps are
I don't know,
misleading.
20 minutes from Crescent Valley to the Cortez mines, and then to go across the valley over the road
Oh, okay.
into Pine Valley and Grass Valley. That's kind of where the project is.
Well, it's exciting anytime we have future development, that's for sure.
It is, and this is truly a world-class gold deposit. This is probably one of the best underground gold mines being developed in the world today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Do you have a card?
I do have some cards for you, and then my contact information is also on the slides, but let me give you these. There you go, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, John. Good seeing you.
Okay. I'm gonna ask for comment on that. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8. For discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the leasing and land building or explore other options on behalf of Battle Mountain Archery Club and Recreation Training. Any public comment?
Hey, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
We have a flash drive. In this.
Let's take a break after this one.
Let's take a break after this item.
Okay. $15-minute break or 10-minute break? Freaking allergies. Never had it until this year.
Doesn't want to be much time.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm Jimmy Nelson, I'm with the Battle Mountain Archery Club, I'm the vice president right now of it. Okay, so we're a nonprofit community club dedicated to providing outdoor recreation, training and lessons to local and area hunters and outdoorsmen. The club also provides good opportunity for families and friends to gather in an outdoor setting. and sporting environment and learn good ethical hunting and sportsmanship skills. So benefits of archery. Fitness. Archery helps to build muscle, endurance, and flexibility, develop hand-eye coordination and body strength. Mental health. Our sport helps with mental focus, drive, and resilience. Perfect for mindfulness and letting go of everyday stress. Join a diverse community. Archery is for all genders, ages, and abilities. It's truly an inclusive sport. We got all ages, women, my wife shoots, my whole family pretty much. It's a good place to meet new people, learn to compete together, and strengthen our bond in the community. Right now, our club has 30 plus members. We're a nonprofit 401c4. Our league dues are $35 a year. Members all ages, men, women, seniors, teens, and youth. We have local competitions at Willow Creek every year is our big shoot. And then we'll have like our club shoots and stuff around White Bridge. And we're going to try and have another one this year at the rodeo grounds. Inventory, we got around 35, 40 targets and a storage trailer for all of them, all the stakes and everything to put the targets in the ground. And they're all 3D targets. And then we're fully insured and growing with plans of expansion. So, EM Archery Club funding proposal. Battle Mountain Archery Club is a rapidly growing club. Many of our members travel throughout the region competing in tournaments. We would like to put in a local range, much like the gun range has outside of town, that can be used by our community to practice for small events, as well as to host large-scale events in the future. We'd love to build a regional archery complex in the Battle Mountain area for practice, lessons, small and large-scale events. We're in need of funding to install fences, berms, security cameras, other safety equipment. We'll also purchase and upgrade some targets and storage for the targets. And then eventually we'd like to build a clubhouse. Our long-term plan is to build an indoor range, pass some parking, picnic tables, lighting and landscaping. Then we can host some large-scale events. So archery in schools. The skills children learn through archery will help them both on and off the field. It's a sport anyone can try and can be picked up quickly. Students don't have to be the fastest or strongest in PE. Uses math and can start at the elementary with rubber-tipped arrows. High school students would benefit from a community with an outdoor range. And then we're just humbly requesting 20 acres of property to be leased or donated to the club. We will ensure full insurance coverage for the club and for all the events. We anticipate small and large scale multi-day tournaments several times a year that will bring revenue to the community. A full-scale range may help attract people to live in the area over the neighboring communities. I know Elko has an outdoor range that a lot of people use. And then ideally we would like approximately 20 acres north of town with some more trees and washes and stuff, natural terrain, just to set our 3D targets. And then having some activities north of town would help to improve the community also. Thanks for your consideration. Open to questions and hope to take the next steps.
So what's it look like right now, Jimmy? Where do you guys practice? Where do you hold your event?
So right now, we have a big shoot every year at Willow Creek, and we just take all the targets up there, for the weekend. And this year, we just had that one about 2 weeks ago. We had 51 people that came from, we had people from Fallon, Reno, Elko, Spring Creek, a bunch of people from Battle Mountain. And then our club shoots, we're just putting on out at White Bridge, I think it's actually the water district owns the land, but we've always had them there, no one says anything. This is more so just to like, where we could leave our stuff year round, you know? People could go out there and sit in their boats before hunting season or whatever, and then we'd like to have like a mile course or something you could walk with little 3D targets around it, get exercise and stuff, you know?
You don't plan on
I,
doing like a,
support this
target shoot where you're
100%.
shooting for, points?
And
Yeah, that's what we're doing,
if
yep.
we have,
But out there,
local
no.
targets.
Yeah, out there it'll just be, anyone can go out anytime. If you're a member, you'll have a code to the gate. You get in, just like the gun club, and you can go shoot whenever you want.
I believe Art was commenting on the phone.
Art?
yeah, I support this 100%. We tried to get a building, and that didn't work out, so I'm 100% behind this, and I would absolutely, I would vote for funding for these folks to get going.
Kylie Nelson for the record. I would also like to add that for this year's Willow Creek tournament, it had a 51 person turnout as opposed to 12 people last year. So we are seeing a lot of growth. And of course that brings people to eat in our local restaurants and stay at hotels. They're coming from Fallon and Reno and Elko. So we are seeing a lot of promising growth with the club.
And then, were there, so I guess we're looking at land over by the sewer plant?
Yeah.
Over that way? I mean, if we were to do something along that lines, Ted, Bert too, you could answer, I mean, it'd be something more, we'd be more apt to lease, right? Than
We
to sell.
can't give them land, they're not a 501c3. Now, they are a nonprofit. Unfortunately, the Nevada Revised Statute, the NRS, which we're bound by, has not caught up with the IRS provisions on these organizations. And NRS only allows us to give land to a 501c3 charitable institution.
And what were they? I thought they were.
It's a C4.
Oh, C4.
We're working on getting that changed. We need to get that
And
changed.
that's what we need to do, but we can lease if, or give them money in a grant, even though it's the wrong time of year to give grants.
Right, no, exactly.
But legally, if you make a finding that it's in the best interest of the inhabitants of Lander County, you can help them, give them a lease of some property or even a grant if it was during the grant period, but it's not, so I don't know where the funding would come from. You'd have to ask somebody.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not asking for funding right now, just mainly the land.
Yeah, he's looking for land, yeah, exactly.
I sent some funding to some other people and stuff, and then I might come back at a later date, but right now I'm just looking for the land.
Well, we could come back if you guys would like with the actual piece of land that the interest is,
Yeah.
and put that back on the agenda for approval of that piece of land. I think that we kind of looked at some land out by the sewer plant, and we can put a actual piece of property to this.
Yeah. And then how, you say you're working on your,
Yeah.
501(c)(3), so when will that, do you think?
We gotta talk to the tax people and see how long it's gonna take, but I can let you know later when we do the land thing. I don't know why they did it to C4 when they first did it, honestly.
So how much ground do you really need for this?
Like 25 acres. Yeah.
Oh, public comment.
Paula Tamara for the record. Out by the sewer plant,
Can't hear you, Paula.
Do you want to use my seat?
It's okay. Out by the sewer plant, Lydia is already working on a project for the railway, project, so I just want you to keep in mind that, a lot of that ground, we're working on that, the rail project out there too.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep, that's a big part of our project, so it's definitely in mind when we move forward, but we have a surplus of ground out there, and I think it might fit what they're trying to do as well.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Okay. So they'll come back when they got the,
Well, yeah, then we'll just re-agendize it maybe with more.
put it on the agenda
Yeah.
for later.
Can we take a break?
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break.
15-minute
Muted.
break.
Okay, let's get back to business on, number 9. Commissioners, for discussion, possible action to approve, disapprove the bid award to PWP-LA 2022-289 Old 8A to Hilltop Collector Roadway Project. Number 1, Honeywell Construction in an amount not to exceed $2,204,450.81, base bid. Recommended for acceptance. Number 2, Granite Construction in an amount not to exceed $3,749,300, base bid. Okay.
Morning,
Aaron.
Good morning, Commissioners. Aaron Martinez for the record. So this project has been going on for quite some time, starting with the airport waterline project itself. And so this is kind of the final stage of that development agreement to execute those components in order to solidify that agreement. So with that, we had created a design to cut across from 8A to Hilltop Road. That design is a very unique design because it cannot go over a certain elevation, and the reason for that is for hydrology purposes. And so there's been quite a bit of information and work that's gone into that design component, and with that you'll see some culvert crossings going across that along that roadway alignment. Those culverts are going to look massively oversized and massively large for the Reese River. Don't be alarmed by that. That is based on current hydrology studies and the amount of flows coming through there that we have to meet from an engineering standpoint. So with that, the culverts are over designed for the particular flows that are outlined. This goes back to a conversation we've had previously where FEMA believes that the Reese River is one of the largest rivers in Nevada. I think, as we all know, that's not necessarily the case. Lander County is currently working on a 20-year initiative to reduce those flows through a different hydrology study, which will ultimately be through a Clomer map. So with that, we had to design to the current flows that are outlined under FEMA's study. So unfortunately, our culverts had to be sized in order to achieve those flows so that there is no backup upstream from this road crossing. A little bit more information on that is this commission took action a few years ago that basically didn't want that road to ever be shut down. The original design was a cheaper design, and what we did is we dropped into the floodway and created basically a sag curve in the floodway, and then if the flows ever came, it would topple the road and just continue along its merry way. The commissioners at that time and management felt that it was not best to have any road that would not be available under a flood or emergency condition, and so they wanted that design modified to this current culvert design. So with that, we had 2 bids come in on this project, one at quite a bit difference than the other, and if you look at the backup packet, you'll see it really comes down to the second contractor was bidding the project as if they were transporting everything to Lander County. We have quite a bit of rock, quite a bit of infill material with aggregate base that needs to be placed on this project. And so if you go and look at some of those itemized components, you'll see that their costs are significantly higher because they're trucking their materials all the way from Elko or somewhere else. So that's primarily why those bids are such a vast range. With that said, that contractor has always given Lander County great pricing, and so that too plays into why these bids are such a differential there. So with that said, we do provide a recommendation for award for Honeywell Construction for the amount listed.
Aaron, the road, I wanted to kind of see where it's going to go. Is it just that big swath that's cut through there now, or?
Yes, sir. Where we had put the airport waterline project, this road will go directly over that water line.
Well, how about all the water hydrants they got out there already?
So there's a few hydrants that will be relocated. Some of those were in place for simply to allow us during the construction of the water line that we could drain that water line in order to perform certain operations during the construction. But some of those hydrants will be relocated to the edge of right-of-way.
So let me ask you this, where it comes out on Hilltop, we have that new, gas station there, and then if we have traffic coming here, I mean, there's gonna have to be some stuff reconfigured there, right?
Absolutely, it's a great question, Mr. Sparks. So right now, there is a egress and ingress turn lanes developed for this roadway. So as you're coming down on Old 8A or Hilltop, north or south, you'll be, if you wanna turn onto this new roadway, you will exit onto a turn lane, what we call a deceleration lane, and you'll decelerate. You will not impede north or southbound traffic, and you'll turn onto the roadway. Same thing if you're turning off that roadway onto Hilltop or 8A, there's an acceleration lane to allow that traffic to get up to speed and not impose on some of those hay trucks and some of that commercial traffic.
So they'll both have to be widened out a little bit.
That's correct. In this project, they are being widened roughly about 1,000 linear feet total. And width-wise, we're basically adding a lane to the edge of those two roadways.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Are these the new bid forms that we're using now with the breakdown like this?
That bid form is something my firm has developed, and it's something that we use
I
in-house.
mean, is this what's given to them and they do that?
Yes, ma'am.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sure
It-
gives you
It's a full
everything
itemized.
right up front with what you can compare.
Yeah, it's a
very
fully
nice.
itemization, and then we have a
Yeah.
bid item clarification that goes along with each one of those items. It verbally explains what the scope of work is
Yeah,
for
you
that
can look and
item.
immediately see what the differences are and where.
Absolutely. And it kind of helps us provide you that recommendation that these bid items are a comparable bid that can be completed, and that's how we're able to look at that. That's part of this review.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the bid award to PWP LA 2022-289, Old 8A to Hilltop Collector Roadway Project, and we award the bid to Honeywell Construction in an amount not to exceed $2,204,450.81.
And I will second that.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will you ask if Art is on?
Art, are you
Aye.
still there? Okay. All in favor?
Muted.
Okay, we'll move on to number 10. Commissioners.
Unmuted.
Art Clark voted aye.
Yeah, they got it, Art. They heard you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to number 10. Commissioners, update from John Shreve on,
Sherby.
Shervy, on behalf of BLM concerning the Mountain View Golf Course. Good morning.
Good morning, Sean.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is John Sherby. I'm the field manager for the Mountain West Field Office. John.
Can you turn that? Good morning. I am my name is John Shervy. I'm the field manager for the Mount Lewis Field Office. And today I want to provide an update to you on the progress of the sale of the Lander County Golf Course. A number of years ago, 4, maybe 5, I don't remember exactly, it was apparent that there were some non-compliance issues with the current patent that the golf course is under. It's through, originally it was transferred, the patent was processed through a Recreation and Public Purpose Act. It's one of the 2 mechanisms we have available to dispose of public land. The RMPP process puts limits on what can and can't be done on that land. And the issue at that time was the golf course running the clubhouse, a bar and restaurant that was making a profit. Under the RMPP process, the profit has to be put back into the golf course itself. So you can make a profit, but that money has to go back into the intent of that RMPP. There were a couple other items that were in trespass or in non-compliance. If you got down to it, even the Little League snack bar would more than likely fall under that same non-compliance issue. We also have, I forgot to bring up, did you include any of those attachments in the commission
in their?
I did. The only thing that we did not include is the full printout of the property evaluation, because it was a few hundred pages. If you guys would like, I will email that over, but I didn't want to put the whole thing in.
And all I want to take from there is just the map that was in that. So I don't know if you've got a map to that. Okay, just so you have a.
That
was
should
part
be
of the-
in your guys' backup.
I don't have a map of mine.
It'll be a couple pages in the back of it.
And also, inconsistent with the current patent, so the golf course, the parcel in mind, the RNPP processed that whole blue shaded area, that's 172 acres. And if you notice the little wedge on the other side of 305 there, that's the, when you turn down 20th Street to the development area south of town here, there's even those post office boxes right there. That's on that, in that blue area. So that, when you get down to it, that's in non-compliance with the RMPP. So there's a number of things. So we move forward with this. The only other mechanism we have to, well, is either get into compliance with the RMPP patent or to continue running the golf course and providing the county with more flexibility with management of that. We, working with the county several years ago, the best way to move forward would be just outright sell it. And so that's what we've been working on over the last couple of years, going through the sale process. And a key part of that was getting this notice of realty action published in the Federal Register. That's a milestone that we made. It took several years to get to that point. Once it was published in the Federal Register, then we're able to then move forward with the sale. That publication was on April 29th, and that was also included in some handouts. So I'm not sure if you had a chance to read it. But the way that explains it, then the next steps is from April 29th, there is a 45-day public comment period. So we'll get comments, and we'll deal with that internally. We respond to the comments, see if there's anything substantial that we need to go look at again. And then, and that's after the 45 days, so then we deal with that when the public comment period closes. And then after 60 days from April 29th, which would be June 28th, after that date, we will issue a sale offer to the county for the appraised value. That appraised value is $431,000 for the 172 acres. That will, from the date of that letter to the county, they'll be provide 20 days to either just outright buy it at that time, or provide a minimum 20% payment. And if you go with the 20%, then you have, again, from the date of that sale letter, from that offer letter, you have then 180 days to complete the rest of the sale. So that's what we've got in front of us. It's in front of the county right now to look at. The appraisal, $431,000 for 172 acres, comes in around $2,500 an acre. The appraisal was based off pre-development prices, so any infrastructure out there right now, it was not part of the appraisal process.
Just raw land.
Yes. Yeah. And so that 172 acres, of course, includes, what's developed out there, but it also provides the full build out if the county does want to move to a larger golf course. But yes, the appraisal is.
Do we have anything in our lease that we have first right of refusal? Like when it goes out.
This is a non-competitive bid. This is just a sale,
It's
a
just
direct land sale to Lander County.
And John, I guess, I think the point she's making is if we don't complete the payoff within the 120 days, what happens to the land?
Okay, so say you do the 20% and we go back to that day we issue the sale letter, the day of that, then that gives you allowed 180 days to complete the sale. Within the first 20 days, you either pay it off or pay down a 20%. And if you go with a 20%, then you have 180 days to finalize the sale. Now, if you don't go through with the sale, the 20% is lost. That stays with the federal government, and then we go back to the current management, the current patent, and the current patent has limitations, and we'll have to go down a route of noncompliance with the patent and with everything, and the big thing would be, well, there'll be limitations then on the golf course. So,
Okay, so if we don't pay, we put our 20% down and then we don't do anything further, and then at the end of that 180 days, it goes out as a competitive bid?
No, it's done. The process is done.
Well, then you're gonna own it
No,
forever?
Unless we start over again.
Unless we get it in the lands deal.
Well, and that's a good point. So so the lands bill is an independent process on what we're doing right now. Two different processes. So if the lands bill, if this parcel stays in the lands bill, all the lands bill is going to say is BLM dispose of this property. BLM, you have only two mechanisms to do it: dispose of it under an RMPP, which what we've already done, or process it through our FLIPMA process, which is what we've already done, which is what this process is. So if we rely on the lands bill and the county still wants it to buy it, we'll just repeat the process that we've just done. Yes. With more unknowns. I mean, who knows what the appraisal might be, what other conditions might be placed on that.
I believe the important thing to know is at that point, we would have no choice but to abide by the stipulations of the current RMP, which would remove anybody from our clubhouse and from using the concessions, so.
If we don't buy it.
Correct.
That's right.
How about the mailboxes? They're out of compliance too.
County-run club out.
I don't know that there's supposed to be any clubhouse at all there. Is that?
No, you can have a vendor, as long as you don't make a profit in any, or as long as the profit goes into the golf course. You can have a vendor under those circumstances.
But listening to John, there seemed to be more non-compliance than just that.
Yeah, I mean, you get down to it, we're going to be penalizing the Little League and softball teams. There's no way to make money on that. And even, which Commissioner Thomas pointed out, we'd more than likely, BLM would more than likely have to issue a trespass to the Postal Service to relocate those post office boxes. So if you guys own the land.
Am I on?
Yeah, or John is just finishing up saying something here, so we'll let you give it 1 second, and then we'll let you cut in here.
So if the county does elect to finalize a sale, then it would just be however you wanna deal with that small area where the post office boxes are.
Art?
I think we need to go ahead and move forward on this. It's gonna alleviate a whole lot of problems in the future, and considering how much money's been spent on that golf course by the county across the years, $400,000 is a grain of salt in comparison to the money we've spent.
Thanks, Art.
I have to agree with Art on that one.
Update item 5, it's not for discussion.
Right, just update, right.
So, yeah, so if you move that direction, then just be, again, I'll emphasize the dates we're dealing with. June 13th is more of our own internal time frame for public comments that we'll receive from whoever. And we'll deal with those. June 28th is the end of the 60-day period. So after that date, probably the next day or a couple days afterwards, we'll issue the sale letter to the county. So once that gets signed and that date, then that's that 20-day time frame that you need to be be cautious of.
So we have a 20-day window to make a decision, when
Yep.
either 20%, or buy it all, or don't do it.
Yes, I mean, yes, or if you do the 20%, then you've got, now are on the clock for 180 days.
We have 3 decisions to make within a 20-day period.
Yep.
So let me ask you this question, Bert, so if we decided to just go ahead and purchase the golf course, where in our budget would we pull that 431,000 from?
We had funds in there for the purchase of this golf course in the past. I'll have to get with Lakin to make sure that they still exist. But that would make it the July 13th meeting we would put this on if that was the direction we wanted to go. Is that correct, John?
Or, I mean, for you guys, I guess you can do it at any point, just knowing that this is coming.
Or if we needed to, we could do 20% to prolong it 180 days to buy us more time if we needed to, if our intent was to truly purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe that when we first started talking about this, there was money put back when Westengard was here. Yeah, I'd just get it on the agenda if we know what the price is gonna be, and let's get it.
I'm sorry, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jess Harvey. I'm the Public Affairs for the BLM. And I'm just, I know there's been a lot of concern in the community about it, and I've been talking with folks on Facebook and stuff like that, trying to explain to them what's going on. And so I'm available if we want to do like a public meeting, or if you know, members of the public want to sit down and have somebody walk them through what's actually going on. If you have any folks who are not fully understanding the issue, I'm available to meet. So that's why I'm here.
No, thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think that's really important.
Can you provide us with contact
I
information?
do. I have cards. I'll leave them. Yeah, absolutely, sir.
All right, well, thank you, guys. Thanks for your work on it, John.
Yeah, you're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said,
It's been a long time.
it has been.
A long time coming.
Yep.
So I guess we'll schedule this one on another meeting to make up our decision. Okay. So we'll move on to number 11. Planning discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove a parcel map, including for J. Wintle. This is a division of one large 127 acre parcel into 4 parcels. One parcel, A1, being 1.72 acres. Parcel A2 being 1.14 acres. And parcel 3 being 1.02 acres, and parcel A4 being 122 acres and 0.91 acres. Located within the portion of section 25, township 32 north, and range 44 east, APN 011-110-13, and matters properly related thereto. This was approved by the Planning Commission on April 20th, 2022 with the following conditions. Number 1, roadways must be brought up to county standard. 2, all utilities must be extended to all parcels. It's up to you, I guess, Mr. Wintle.
Jay Wintle for the record. I don't have much more to add.
Do we have any public comment?
I have comment.
Okay.
I apologize. one thing I would like the county commission to know is you guys can put actually additional stipulations on this if you would like. So the parcel that he is pulling off of, and it's a part, this goes into that subsequent parceling the county's had concern with. What Jay is doing is perfectly within the rules and boundaries of subdividing and building. However, if you guys wanna try to eliminate that subsequent parceling, you guys can put terms on it for 3, 5, 10 years, whatever you guys want, that we can't parcel that other piece of ground again for that period of time to kind of stop the subsequent parceling, if that is the concern for this commission. So I just want to make you aware of what can and can't be done, and I'll let Ted add to that, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Commissioners, in the planning commission, the staff made certain recommendations. Some of those recommendations were followed, and ergo, we have 2 conditions set on this. Now, these are recommendations from the planning commission. They set 2 recommendations. I would suggest that you ask your staff for their full recommendations and take that into account.
Do we have that?
So I'm failing to understand, you say full recommendations, I thought listed is there recommendations, are there spoken recommendations that weren't listed on our agenda?
No, so there's staff recommendations, and then there's recommendations that are put forward by the planning commission themselves. So the planning commission may see their staff recommendations, say, you know what, we don't really see that that's necessary. And so they don't they move on with whatever recommendations that they forward to the board. Is what I don't want to end up happening. I can respect what Ted is saying, but I don't want us to be stepping over our volunteers that are trying to put their best foot forward, and not taking the recommendations. But I just want us to all be aware of why and how we're moving forward, if that makes sense, because where I'm going with this is this county commission's concern has been subsequent parceling. The concern of the planning commission has not been. I don't think that that's malicious in any way, but it's just something that needs to be brought to light so everybody knows why the planning commission is moving forward. They want to see continued development. They know that some of the problems which I spoke to earlier of developers being able to afford doing bigger developments and the financial cost and burdens of doing that. So they are looking at it from that side, and I want this commission to know that if you guys would like to add other stipulations to this, you can. If your concern is the subsequent parceling, now's the time to address it. If it is not, and you want to respect the wishes of the planning commission, then they're before you right there.
In other words, we might have recommended that he put in 50 trees, and they said, no, we are not gonna make that a condition, we're just gonna do this. So we don't know what else they might have recommended.
You mean the staff?
The staff, yes.
That's
Yes,
correct.
our staff, yeah.
Because it's my understanding, I may be wrong, that one of the staff recommendations was subsequent parceling. And if we're not, they didn't add that to their conditions that they recommended to this board. So.
Well, you're saying staff, and just so I understand, we're not talking about a planning commissioner, we're talking somebody that
We're
supports our
talking about
planning
your
commission.
staff. We're talking about your staff.
Oh, okay.
So we agendize this, so you guys know, we agendize this as the planning commission approves it.
Okay.
Our staff recommendations to the planning commission is only that, a recommendation. The agendized item that comes before this commission is to respect our planning commission and their recommendations. No matter what our staff recommends, we put this in here as it comes from the planning commission.
We've never known before what the staff may have recommended. We
No.
only know what the planning commission says to us.
And I do believe that should be in your guys' packet. Staff's report, the staff report, and on the staff report that goes to the planning commission is the staff recommendations.
What was the staff recommendation?
I'm looking for it, hold on.
Does this need to go back to the planning commission for reconsideration now that they have a full board?
The planning commission makes a recommendation to the county commission. Theirs is a recommendation.
So there are certain things that the planning commission approves, and then there are other things that they make a recommendation, and we forward that onto this commission to do the heavy lifting and make the decision.
So when, I mean, we may be
Well, this isn't some kind of an end around to get away from subdivision cost, is it?
No.
It's not a loophole.
What Art say?
Art's asking if somebody's trying to get around subdivision costs. This was applied for legal, and it's legal with or without conditions. That's all we're saying.
Yeah,
If
so
you, if you wanna place conditions, you can place more conditions, you can place less conditions, you can adopt the recommended conditions.
I mean, for me, and I can't speak for the rest of the commission, it's kind of a horse before the cart, because, I mean, we had an earlier agenda item, we said bring back more of a defined outline of what we're looking at that would encompass something exactly like this. So it's kind of like, to have that vision, I don't have the vision to where I feel that I could make an intelligent decision, you know, that's me.
So I think maybe the question would be of Jay is if he would be interested in doing something bigger than this, that would be something that the county would come back maybe later and have a plan that we present to you guys approve, and it'd be down the road a little bit, but it's something that may stop what part of this commission's concern was, which is the subsequent parceling and the avoiding of some of the subdivision rules and addressing kind of both sides of it, but that was entirely up to the
With some sort
developer.
of a partnership with our developer.
It's entirely up to the developer and to this commission on what stipulations you guys would like to put on it, or terms, you know, like I say, you guys could say this 127 acre parcel, that they're splitting, that they can't subsequent parcel that for 10 years. But the problem with doing things like that, and the concern that I have is, we wanna make sure that we aren't crippling ourselves from development in the future, so it's kind of a touchy situation on what we do that's the best interest of our community. If that makes sense.
We keep getting in.
Okay, but our staff gives this all to the planning commission,
Correct.
right? And we've looked at the planning commission to do the vetting for us, so that when it comes back to us, we think we're pretty well on top of it.
Correct.
Now we're saying maybe we should be looking at what the staff recommends and whether the planning commission is doing their job well enough, or we wanna add something else. I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm micromanaging here. I don't wanna miss anything, but I've always had a lot of faith in what our planning commission does, and they usually look at things very closely. So,
And that is why we only, out of respect
I
to the
think
planning commission,
my
put the
concern
recommendations that they have made
here
on
is-
the agenda.
right.
Everything else we put in for backup so you guys can review. And if you guys see something in there that is of a major concern, you can address it,
And there
but,
might be something that we're passionate about, we would like to add.
correct.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And that is in backup.
It is, yeah, I see.
There's two, the 5 recommendations the staff originally made.
Okay. You got that?
Knowing the Castellanos for the record, what is on your thing where it says all utilities must be, what's the definition for all utilities?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It says all utilities, so she's asking what is
Is your
included in that,
definition?
all utilities, water, sewer, electric, what are we talking? Is it all? Is that what we're talking about?
Jay, I would let Jay answer that.
Well, we made an agreement in the planning commission to run water, cause that was only county available, utility available in the area. Is what the agreement was in the planning commission.
How about electricity?
Electricity
This
over
isn't
there,
any-
but
This is
electric and gas is in the street, the street's paved.
Not all gas is there, I can tell you that, I know that for a fact.
What?
The gas going to some of the properties out there.
You
It's
know
not
where
all there.
this is at?
I know some of your older properties that doesn't have it, so, I'm just saying, that's my question, what's considered all utilities?
Oh, gas is on this is down past the golf course.
Well, I'm just saying for future, I mean, I wanna know the definition for what you consider all utilities, cause if that's the case, then they shouldn't have put the.
No, and I think that would have to be outlined in the planning commission when
Right.
we make those recommendations.
And that's what I'm saying, so if they put all, to write it in there, what exactly they want for definition.
Have some more comments here?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah, Art.
Hello? Okay, well, when Aaron gave his 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan presentation, he mentioned that Planning Commission had been authorizing things that they really don't have authorization for. So, you know, I want to throw that out there and make sure that we're not allowing things to get away from us.
No, we've clearly defined them roles and responsibilities at this point, and the things that need to be forwarded to you guys are sitting before you today. The other ones that they can approve, they aren't coming to you. So we've defined them.
Well, my question is this an end around to slow down the cost of development?
No, sir.
Well,
okay.
One of the conditions that staff recommendations I see that I think is really important would be the condition approval, applicant shall dedicate an easement for utilities, including 10-foot public utility easement adjacent to roadways and easements for future access to all, because that's the issue that we're dealing with. It's like, what's to stop property owners from building over where future development can be? I think that's something for just me thinking, it's like a no-brainer.
But I thought that was already included. Don't they build like that?
It's not.
I mean,
That's on the map, that's on the current map, it has,
That is?
it's dedicated well, the road was already dedicated and been paid. Sheep Creek's already dedicated all the way.
it's already on the parcel.
It's already on the map,
Yeah,
and
it should
dedicated
be.
road with a 7.5-foot utility easement beyond the 60-foot easement. There's a, Blue Ridge turns the corner there. It was dedicated as a right-of-way for Turquoise Hills. Now it's a dedicated road on this map with the 7.5-foot. And it's already paved. And this map has not been parceled for 9 years, so it falls into as a pure parcel map. And they asked for a tentative plan in the area. My tentative plan to reparcel this is wait until sewer's available down.
And then the other one I would think would be number 5, just because there seems to have been so much discussion and issues on the density of septic tanks, right? Where it basically says condition of approved parcel proposed for septic and well should be no less than 1 acre, where the applicant should provide public sewer connections.
These lots are all over an acre, and your county code for the underlying zoning on this is, one of them's an acre, 2 of them are R3, which is a ½ acre with either city water or city sewer available at the lot, and city water is available.
Or anything under an acre.
Under a ½ acre.
Under a ½ acre.
If you got both of them, you gotta have over an acre. If you gotta have on-site water and sewer, under the current plans. And like I say, my tentative plan for this area is not to do any more development in this area for at least 5 years until it resets itself, unless we come up with sewer in the area. Going down Northern Lights, we already have a water line there, maybe parallel to where we get sewer available at the end, or we parallel it down, share a cost on it, and then we would look at a subdivision map at that time.
So every one of them is already over an acre, so we didn't have to.
Right. So I guess a little bit of confusion.
This isn't any different than all the rest of them. When you come before us, we've asked for exactly the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know where we have a problem. Are we anticipating a problem with something that we're missing? Okay, because it looks pretty straightforward.
So you're, in 5 years or so, you're planning on doing it?
Okay.
I really don't plan on doing anything with this particular parcel. There's 2 parts, the next parcel next to it, I don't plan on until sewer's in the area, because like I said, it needs to be, the septic tank density will be used up on the other parcel on the 1 acre. This parcel has 3 different zones, or 4 different zonings to it. It has C1 and 2 over by the golf course and on the highway. It has R3 that's on 2 of these lots, and it has some A1 that wraps around the back of it, and the rest of it's R3 zoning. R3 zoning don't require sewer, but when you get your land use plan, I'm sure we're gonna lean in that direction.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the parcel map application for J. Wintle for the division of one large 127 acre parcel into 4 parcels. Parcel A, 1.72 acres, parcel A2 being 1.14 acres, parcel A3 being 1.02 acres, and parcel A4 being 122.91 acres. It's located within a portion of section 25, township 32 in north, and range 44 east, APN 011-110-13. And note that this was a recommendation by the Planning Commission on April 20th. There are 2 conditions. Roadways must be brought up to county standard, and all utilities must be extended to all parcels.
Okay, there was, Aaron, give me 1 second, I think Art wanted to say something. Art? Art, did you have a comment?
How far are these parcels from sewer?
Depends how you run it. We don't
It
even
sounds
plan
like
to
they're
get
not
sewer
that
there
far.
yet. Probably up right over there is probably the closest pump station. And these are
About
the
how
end of
far,
Sheep Creek
Jay?
Road.
What's that, Art?
About how far?
Well, they're for sure one lift station away, so we would have to put a lift station in order to access sewer for sure. We can only service so far down Sheep Creek, and still have gravity fed, because the lift station that we have to bring it to is the one that's out front of the sheriff's office.
Yeah, we're gonna put lift stations all over up here, so we may as well get going on that. The big thing for me, and I think the big thing on the land use plan is gonna be sewers. So, we got the infrastructure out there the development can follow. I just don't want this to be an end around on a way to start a subdivision without the subdivision rules in play. That was my only concern, along with the sewers.
Yes, and I believe that's why I was putting it out there that if this commission wanted to put some sort of stay on the next parceling, that would eliminate this end around for subdivisions being parceled off of larger parcels. That if you said we can't develop on this larger parcel for 10 years, then nobody's going to want to just put 3 homes on it as opposed to 10, because it's a 10-year hold on them. And like I say, I caution the commission for that as well, because of what you do to your potential growth. So it's all of that just needs to be in consideration.
Yeah. Right. As long as there's septic involved, city sewer, and we can hook up, we're gonna help the county that way. I'm okay, because Jay said he's not looking forward to doing anything for that property for 5 years. He's gonna follow the infrastructure. That's pretty good to me.
Aaron Martinez for the record. A couple things. I think you brought up a great point. In terms of the utilities, I think the commission will want to further identify exactly which utilities, because it does say all, so it's important that we clarify that. And 2, I think that it's important that we clarify exactly what the road standard is that's to be built, so I think that's important in terms of what is the section of that roadway. And then the third item, and Mr. Wintle just explained it himself, that he's expecting to maybe not perform anything on this parcel for another 5 years, and that's exactly what's been occurring up to this point. And so the reality is that this approach is circumventing the tentative map approach, and it circumvents the code and the policy that Lander County currently has. If you're gonna come to a subdivision in Lander County, you have to do the roads, you have to do the curbs, you gotta do the sidewalks, you gotta do the utility extensions, you gotta do street lights every 500 linear feet. And so obviously that's a big cost impact for anyone that wants to do development. And so what's been occurring in Mr. Wintle's property is every 5 years per NRS, he comes and does a parcel map application, which allows you to subdivide parceling in a fashion of 4 or less lots. And so what's happening is they're performing 3 lots for construction, and the remaining lot, the larger lot, stays as the larger lot. And then 5 years later, like we're doing now, they come and do another 3 lots for development. Again, what that does is it circumvents the code so that they don't have to submit plans and ultimately infrastructure in order to build the subdivision like you normally would in a typical community. And so even under the testimony given today, another 5 years, we'll wait for that NRS code to relapse, and then they'll come in and do another parcel map application.
So-
Part of the, one moment please, sorry. One of the recommendations in the staff report was so that we place a stipulation on this parcel so that if anything comes back within the next 5 years or thereafter, that it would fall under a tentative map approach, and they would need to submit plans in order to do that.
So everything Mr. Wintle is doing is per NRS.
That's right.
But what you're saying is in violation of Lander County Code. So my question is, why is the planning commission putting forth their recommendation in violation of what Lander County Code is?
It's not in violation, so I want to make sure and make that clear.
Okay.
Violation of the policy based on it, not the code.
It's in violation of a policy if you were gonna do a subdivision. So it's not in violation of any policy as it currently sits.
What he's doing is perfectly all right. but
Correct.
If he continues to do it, we're in the same mess that we are
Same as
now.
we're in.
And
So,
and in all reality, as a larger home, as a larger parcel owner, what it does is it further stagnates growth in Lander County. So instead of maybe doing 10 or 15 or 20 lots in 5 years, we're doing 3 every 5 years. So it is a stagnation of growth component as well.
And that's the concern that I have with putting a 10-year moratorium on it is then it stagnates it even further. And that's part of where I was saying earlier that we need to bring these developers to the table and start working with them to make something better for our
well,
community.
what's the immediate solution for like these two agenda items we're dealing with now? You know, it's like we approve it, but then we put a condition on for future? I mean, how would we?
My personal thought is that if you guys did something with, you put some sort of teeth on it where it's 10 years unless you come back with that parcel in a subdivision map. If they wanted to further subdivide that, you know, I don't know to what extent that could be reached or what teeth that would be. The district attorney would have to speak to that, but that might be something to where it's not a 5-year by NRS that it, you know, and we get everybody to the same table.
I like that idea, Bert.
And that's a subsequent parceling clause that Bertol was talking about.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Subsequent parcel. So if you put a 10-year thing that any subsequent parceling within the next 10 years, for instance, you need to do a subdivision map. That's what they're talking about.
Jake?
I think it's kind of misleading what was said there, that I'm reparceling parcels. The original parcel in this area has 2 homes on it through a parcel map. I created 2 large parcels and 2 small parcels. I come forward with a 12 parcel subdivision, followed subdivision rules for the other 12 parcels, so there's 14 parcels come out of that original parcel. And that's been 20 years ago. It's been 9 years since it's been parceled, so I'm not watching the calendar coming back in 5 years. I've been waiting for sewer and proper development in the area to develop this. I've actually been waiting closer to town. That's the reason I'm out there coming back towards the city with larger lots to keep lots and builders available for it don't dry up completely, for we don't just can't sell 3 lots because there ain't a lot available in town to build on.
What's the capacity?
Two sides, the man owns the property and he's doing everything properly.
Yeah,
We're saying we've got a real world of hurt here because of where we're going in the future and we want it to be right.
Exactly, it's, because that's what I don't wanna do, is I don't wanna infringe on his rights, you know?
Right.
He's following the law, it's his land, it's, because I wouldn't be appreciative of that if I was in his shoes, you know?
And it already rolls around at 5 years. I mean, I can't do anything without following all subdivision rules. If I come towards you, let's say I come back towards you next week with another map, I would have to put curb and gutter, sidewalk, street lights, And if it's after your land use plan comes and you decide sewer needs to be there, I would have to put sewer there before you would be allowed to let me have a parcel there.
Under current law.
What?
Under current law.
No, under current law, I can put it there because it's that R3 zoning is. But if you change, which I think you're going with the land use plan, I think it's gonna change. I mean, my drift, it's gonna, that R3's kinda gonna change. And that's the reason I'm doing this, is it's gonna change to, basically, you're looking at 2.5 acres for the whole thing out there, which don't make no sense, cause it's all laid out for an acre and a half acre, so where the roads and everything are, so getting these last few developments before that comes in.
Okay, we got public comment on this?
Right here.
Right here.
Dusty Ship, Braemar Construction. So I develop in other areas, Elko, Nevada and Winnemucca, and typically when you're doing a subdivision design, you have to go through a lot more hurdles. And I don't know if you guys fully understand that process, but I think what staff's trying to do is bring forward an opportunity for developers to come in and instead of doing a couple lots at a time, do 10 or 20 or 50 or something to incentivize that. The problem with developers doing a whole subdivision is like it was said earlier, is all those costs are up front. So you have to put in the streetlights and the curb and gutter, especially on the larger parcels. There's a cost per lot to put in all this infrastructure, and so your frontage of your lot, most of your larger developments, you'll see these smaller lots, 10,000 square foot, not acres, because of the cost is so high to bring all that infrastructure in. So I just wanted to say, I don't know if everybody understands how that works other than probably the developers here, but there's, what's trying to be done is we're trying to, this looks like staff's trying to put forth some sort of plan so that it incentivizes the developers to not just do 2 parcels, but to actually bring something bigger, because there's a lot of challenges to go to the subdivision side of it, not just cost, but just time and approvals and things like that. So obviously what's in place right now works for what Jay's trying to do. I mean, he's following all the rules, but I think in the future, as staff's bringing this forward, is hopefully that'll incentivize more development, larger, not 2 lots and then wait 10 years. So I don't know if you guys understand
And
all that.
hopefully we
but
can
that's,
partnership and subsidize a little bit of that, so it won't be,
Right.
we'll encourage you to come in more, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank
So,
you.
I think, this is my thing here, is, I think we need to probably approve what's in front of us, but we need to put stipulation in there for anything further that we put our goal in of where we wanna be heading in the future. And how we do that exactly, I'm not sure how we would phrase it, but.
By NRS, it's already there for the 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to extend that, you would have to put something in your motion to extend that 5 years to a 10-year or an 8-year, a 6-year, whatever you guys wanted to for the subsequent parceling.
Well, I would hope that we would be able to have something solid in place within the next 5 years, to
As would
where
I.
anything that were to happen, it's like, this is how we play now. So I don't think extending it to 10 years would be necessarily, because I don't want, if we're building for the future, I wanna build sooner than that,
Yes.
But like Jay said, 5-year thing is already established by NRS.
Right.
So if he files a year from now for another split in parcels,
A year from now?
yeah, a year from now, within that 5-year period, he'd have to do a subdivision map. Because that's already.
Well, I could do the parcel map, but I have to follow subdivision
Right,
rules.
rules.
It would follow all the inlying rules.
Right.
And like I said, if you change it to,
To
because
10.
under lighting sewer, if you change R3 to require sewer, then it'd have to wait 5 years before it was.
Oh, just take your large lot and sell it to a developer and let them do it, it's okay.
But either way, as Aaron pointed out, I would suggest that you define those 2 terms. And
So when they say all utilities, I'd like a clarification on what all utilities is in these 2 items.
Typically, it's
All
available utilities.
All available utilities, so can somebody tell me what those are?
So I believe right now, and Jay can correct me, but on the county side, we do have water. I don't believe there's any sewer. And then we don't do the gas or the power, obviously, them are different. So them would be the utilities that the
So
counties.
Just water.
Just water. And then the standard in which we are bringing the roadway up to
Is typically an Orange Book standard.
Orange Book standard.
It's already up to that, I mean, it's already a county road. Been approved and maintained by the county.
So is that true, that they're all up to county standard currently, today?
I haven't been out by there. I wish Donnie was here right now.
I was,
Is
that's
there a
meaning
road
county
that they grade
maintenance.
them, or are they actually to standard, to code?
I don't know how
I
much
built the
based on-
gravel, well, the first, Sheep Creek Road, I built the standards under the, and it was paid by the county. The subdivision, Blue Ridge, I built the county specs with asphalt on it for the underlying zoning as A1 zoning.
Okay, so I guess, what's the intent of the planning commission when they say all utilities must be extended to all parcels? Are they talking just water, because that's the only thing that's available?
I believe they're speaking of all available utilities, and that's a clarification that we'll make on the staff side of it. That's not really the planning commission's fault. That kind of falls on our shoulders more than them. But I believe available utilities, yes.
And then roadways must be brought up to the county standard, and then who oversees that portion?
Typically, that's road and bridge, and in the past, when I was there working with Jay, we would go out and get compaction tests and all that prior to coming in and paving it, make sure that we had the right amount of base on it and so forth.
Okay, well, I say I would second Patsy's motion, and I'll just put in there that my intent is to move forward in the direction of progress and to have something in place, hopefully sooner than 5 years, so.
Yes, I think now you guys see the prior item and the relevance.
Patsy, could you amend your motion to include the word available between all and,
All available utilities?
Yes.
Certainly, I will amend my motion to include all available utilities must be extended to all parcels.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Got any public comment on it? Okay, we'll move on to number 13.
12.
Number 12, discussion possible action to approve, disapprove a parcel map application by J. Wintle. This is a division of one large 150 acre parcel into 4 parcels. Parcel B1 being 1.4 acres, parcel B2 being 1.04 acres, parcel B3 being 1.4 acres, and parcel B4 being 146.38 acres, located within the portions of section 25 township 32 north and range 44 east, APN 011-110-17, and all matters properly related to thereto. This was approved by the planning commission on April 2022 and the following conditions. The roadways must be brought up to county standard. All utilities must be extended to all parcels.
Okay, Jay Wintle for the record again, just a brief history here. This one sits on the other side of the subdivision. The road is not there yet, the water line's in place. I have to bring 440 feet of road up to minimum county standards. And I agreed to put the water on the lots. And my tentative plan for this area is probably would like to come back with a tentative map once you get your land use plan, for we know it is 6 months, year down the road. We go to 2.5 acres, try 3 2.5 acre lots, see if they're economical, because on paper they're not economical to develop in that area. If that works out, we'd probably move forward with a true subdivision of 2.5 acre lots.
Okay. Does anybody got anything to add to that?
Well, what the
Couple
Tendy
comments.
map, if I move forward, I would come back and pave the 440 foot of road, extend the road to get to 2.5 acres. I'd extend it another 300 feet, pave it, put in probably a street light. Then I'd bring it up to the underlines, say 1 zoning, so that'd bring it up to A1 standards.
Anything, Patrick?
I'm okay with the way it is. Are you okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You want me to make a motion? Okay. I make a motion, we approve the parcel map application for J. Wintle for the division of one large 150 acre parcel into 4 parcels. Parcel B1 being 1.04 acres, parcel B2 being 1.04 acres, parcel B3 being 1.04 acres, and parcel B4 being 146.38 acres. It's located within a portion of section 25, township 32 north, and range 44 east, APN 011-110-17. This has been approved by the Planning Commission on April 20th with the following conditions. Roadways must be brought up to county standard, and all available utilities must be extended to all parcels.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made.
Whoops, comment.
Oh, comment.
Sorry, just to be clear, Aaron Martinez for the record, what is the county road standard that we're asking for here? Cause I think it's been described as a base road.
I
and
thought
are
we
talking paved
clarified it
roads?
was an Orange Book standard.
He wasn't here.
Yeah, so the Orange Book standard is,
It's only for base is what we've done in the past. The paving, we've actually taken on ourselves. The building it up to the pavable standard is what we've required in the past.
Okay. Just wanna make sure I'm clear on that. And then the second item is typically under a subdivision or any type of development like this, the developer is required to bring the water infrastructure into compliance with fire and life safety components. And so typically fire hydrants are to be placed every 500 or 750 linear feet. And so those are also items that I'm not sure this commission's fully aware of, but those are required by law and are part of the developer's responsibilities. And so typically fire hydrants and things like that are supposed to be considered, and I'm not sure that's being brought up.
Okay, Jay.
There's a fire hydrant on the place, in place on the end of
Yeah,
Blue
it
Ridge
says
Road's
it's
already.
close, yeah.
It's already there. The next fire hydrant, there's a T in place, but it extends past the 440 feet, was where the next fire hydrant's in place to go, is on the next development part.
Just as a condition, it may be best that as you extend that water line infrastructure, that the fire and life safety goes with it.
well, I would think that would be the direction that we go.
Yeah, if it's law, I mean, already in place, we can just make sure that we maybe put something in there that we abide by the current law for life safety.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second?
Okay, we've had a motion and it's been seconded. Do we need to amend it?
Is that what you were asking? Does that need to be amended, the motion?
I think if you guys wanted to amend it, you just have to add the life safety component to your motion.
Yeah.
Stating that
It's your motion.
stating that it would, in future development, that the life safety component, by law would be complied with.
You want me to amend it to what?
The life safety component,
Of what?
life safety component?
The discussion was brought up about,
Life safety
yes.
component?
It has to do with fire hydrants.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it says there's a fire hydrant over here, and developers have to bring it up.
Correct.
But individuals don't have to. So you want the individuals to do it?
No, we're
No.
talking
No,
about
the
developers.
developer.
He's the developer.
We're just saying that,
I'm lost. I mean, the developers have, okay, the fire hydrant is there. It says our fire protection is there. Developers have to bring it on site, but he's not a developer.
And is
And
what
it's
Jay
already
is,
there.
is what Jay is saying is that it currently exists on what he is, what he is developing now. And so it does not necessarily have to be here, but when he develops in the future, that it would require an additional hydrant to be compliant with the law and the life safety of that.
Whether you put it on in that verbiage or not.
We didn't do it on the last one.
That you can roll with it however you would like.
It's
But
got
we
two,
didn't-
it's got
we
two
didn't have
fire
a
hydrants on
hydrant
it.
that close.
I think we're good either way because it's gonna be the next development that he has to be concerned with.
We're good, I'm good. We got a motion in a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion's been carried.
You know we're gonna make you do, so do it.
I have no idea what you guys want me to do anymore.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks.
Okay. Number 13, discussion of possible action to approve, disapprove submitting a letter of opposition to a new Clean Energy Mineral Reform Act of 2022. I read some of the background on this yesterday.
Okay, but somebody has to explain what the act is, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, they made an act back in the 1800s, like, for all the rules
Was
with
this the
your mining.
last legislature?
No.
Is this part of the mining law with the last
They
legislature?
are trying to change the mining law,
Yeah.
yes, from the one in 1800. Now they're trying to make it more onerous on mines. They have to clean up, they have to make up. What they're doing is trying to restrict mining.
Well, no, I understand that, but is this new law is part of the legislature, what they just passed?
No, it's.
Hasn't
It was
passed.
introduced in
hasn't
2019, I
passed.
believe. It was a few years ago.
This is
Right.
opposing.
Well, they got a new one coming
This
out.
is a new triad.
Yes.
They tried it a couple of years ago, and the same person that put it forward is now putting it forward again.
Okay,
So the women miners have requested that the county commission, do
Okay.
a letter.
is the law isn't in effect
No.
yet? Okay, there you go, okay, they're just gonna resubmit it, and they want our support letter against it,
Yes,
in opposition.
Yeah.
Got it,
yes.
okay,
Right.
And this is, we're just joining arms with our neighboring counties on this.
Right.
okay, I'm fine.
I'll make a motion. Is
I
there-
would just, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, Art.
Okay, the only thing I want to say is I'm Arthur Clark III, not Arthur Clark, so hopefully you can fix that.
On the letter. Oh. Okay, noted, Art, thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion on making the letter?
I'll make a motion that we approve submitting a letter in opposition to new Clean Energy Minerals Reform Act of 2022 and authorize the chairman to sign.
I believe the letter is attached.
It's right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
Okay. The motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. It passes unanimously. Okay, we'll go to number 14, Commissioners for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the appointment of one individual to serve with Lander County Economical Development Authority Board, which currently has 3 openings. New terms are from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023. Miranda Thurmaine.
This will actually be our representation from the south, that will be sitting on this board. And so I make a motion that we approve Miranda Tremaine to sit on the Lander Economic Development Authority Board for the term from July 1st, 21 through June 30th, 23.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
appreciate them
Okay.
stepping up.
Thank you for volunteering.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, we'll go on to 15, correspondence for reports of future agenda items.
Yes, Commissioner. I have, June 9th, I would like to put NDOW on the agenda, so we can come just as an update and for discussion for our community and NDOW and Lander County working together out here on the Licking Ranch and what we're doing, what we can't do, just for general discussion for the public. So if you guys would like to spread that out, I would like to, let everybody know. I do believe the 23rd, they're having a barbecue out there as well. and they would like to, meet prior to that in here in the commission chambers for, some of their plans as well, but hopefully they can update us on the 9th agenda. Outside of that, I have nothing else to add to the agenda.
So it's June 9th, Bert?
Yes,
Okay,
June 9th?
yeah.
that was as soon as they were available to, get some of their representatives out here.
When do we have to approve our budget? When does that due?
I will have to get with Lakin on that. I do not know that off the top of my head. I apologize. We will be sure not to miss any dates though.
Do we need, what will we do, on the golf course issue? That just going to, we have to wait after that comment period, which is,
We don't.
I think we could make, if you guys would like to put it on the agenda, it sounded to me like, and we'll have to get with, Ted and make sure that we read through everything, that it doesn't have to, the comment period doesn't have to end prior to us making a motion to either purchase or not purchase. That way, when that time does come, we can move one way or the other. So we could add that to this next agenda if you would like, depending on, after legal reviews, what.
Well,
I think that'd be a great idea.
Until they're done.
So would you like to wait till after the comment period?
Until the publication period starts, that's when they publish their findings. So,
So maybe we should wait till after the, June 28th is when, the soonest that we could purchase, because the 13th is when the BLM does their internal, and then the 28th is what it sounded like is when the sale to the county could actually be completed anyway, so maybe we could add that to,
the 13th, we'll have all the information by the 13th,
okay.
because that's when they have to publish it.
I'm okay, you can add it, anytime you want to, because it always says possible action, it doesn't say mandatory action. So it doesn't mean we're gonna do anything, but we can get an idea of where we're going, so, I don't care how often you wanna put it on.
We will add it to the next agenda, and if we can't make any move on it, we can always table it.
Sounds good. Okay, I guess we're ready to adjourn, aren't we? Got any public comment on that? Or any public comment, period?
okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.